All right, I want to go back and make sure you understand the difference between p-value and alpha again. One more time here. If you have a test value could be a z, a t, or a chi-squared. It's going to come from one of your formulas. So you have a test value, which is a value on this horizontal axis right here. Okay, it could be a z-axis, a t-axis, or a chi-squared axis. Or even an f-axis. We can talk about the f-test a little bit. If the null is true, blank is the probability of getting the test value or a more extreme test value. So, in other words, there's something that is the probability of getting this test value or a test value in this red area. Anyone know what that answer to that question is? It's also the area, this area right here, p-value. Good. That value is called the p-value. Stands for probability value. And it's the probability of getting a test value right at that line or to the right of it. That area represents the probability. Remember, areas under the curve represent probabilities. So, all right, next one down here. Now we have critical value. What if you have a critical value? A critical value, again, is going to be either a z, a t, or a chi-squared. So it's going to be on this horizontal axis. And it's going to come from a chart. Critical values don't come from formulas, they come from charts. And there's a different name for the area to the right of the critical value. Anyone know what that area is called right there? Alpha. Yeah, that's alpha. So both of them are areas, but p-value is the area to the right of the test value. Alpha is the area to the right of the critical value in a right-tailed test. If it was left-tailed, we'd be going to the left of those values. If it was two-tailed, we'd be looking at both tails. If the null is true, blank is the probability of rejecting the null. What do you think that is? I just said it a minute ago. That's what alpha is. Alpha is this area. Okay? If the null is true, the null always says that there is no change or no difference between whatever we're looking at. Okay? So the null's out here in the middle at 0. It's saying that two things are equal, or that the hypothesized mean maybe equals the sample mean, those types of things. We're saying that we're in here somewhere. Okay? So there's still this chance of what's called type 1 error. Type 1 error is when when the null is true but you end up rejecting the null. That's called type 1 error. Alpha is the probability of that happening. So maybe you do a study and you want to set it up so there's only a 1% chance of type 1 error. You want to make sure there's only a 1 out of 100 chance that if the null is true that you'll end up rejecting it and making a mistake. If you do that, then you set your alpha value at 0.01. Okay? That's good, Lucas.